Surprise! I was already in the game tonight. Um, hello. It is Monday. It is 8 o'clock. These are the things that I say every Monday at 8 o'clock when I'm starting the stream that you probably know starts here if you're watching it. Maybe not. I am still at my little vacation from the alphabet thing, and it is close to the release of a new expansion for Final Fantasy 14, and I was thinking, hey, when that comes out, maybe I should stream that. And then I realized, wait, when that comes out, the server's gonna be bogged down to hell, and it's gonna be incredibly difficult to connect to it at like a specific time to make sure I can stream it. And also, I'm not sure if I can run it because it's upgrading the graphics, and my computer's kind of old. So I figured, right now, when it's kind of dead, and this is definitely going to work out, I'm going to play a bit of this and show off some educational thing or other. In a room less noisy than this one. And therefore with worse music. Speaking of, I'm messing with my sound settings today, and also my upstairs neighbor is either vacuuming or using some kind of handsaw. So if you can't hear me or can't hear the game or some combination thereof, let me know. Anyway, yeah, this is Final Fantasy 14, the one that's an MMO that isn't 11. Or the one that's two MMOs, because they made one and it sucked, and they had to make another and just recycle the number. Anyway, what I am specifically going to be showing off tonight is a little thing where when you first start playing this game, when you're creating a character, there's a bunch of choices that don't matter. One of which is like, hey, out of these 12 gods, which one do you want as like your personal patron? And when that was first put in, it determined your like elemental strengths and weaknesses a little bit, where each god had, you know, like fire, ice, lightning, etc. as like a thing, and you'd take less damage of that type. Somewhere over the years, though, they got rid of elemental damage in this game. It is just not a thing anymore. One of the other things. So technically, the only thing that choice of what god you want to worship does now is just, you know, which one do you think is coolest? And you kind of have nothing to go on, and you've had nothing to go on for the past, 15 years or something that's been around? That makes you feel old, I'm sorry. But anyway, so, yeah, presently, you can, in fact, I was saying, yeah, pick gods that don't really matter, and then play the game. But at the end of the current expansion, during the whole, like, here are some patches, some extra stuff before the next expansion comes out dump, they put in a whole thing where all of these gods at the start of the game are boss fights. So you can actually see what they look like and their personalities, and, like, then pick a meaningless thing that gets... I don't even think it's even displayed anywhere. Oh no, there it is. Yeah, right there. Down in the little corner there. Hello, Native Fury. Okay, so it is somewhere in-game, technically, doing nothing. But yeah, so, gonna do those boss fights against the, 12 or so gods, give or take. The way FF14 works in general is with this whole queue-based system where you unlock a thing, and rather than just, like, you know, go to that part of the world and do the thing, you, just sort of, go to that part of the world, get your little, card stamped, and then, okay, whenever I feel like doing this, I just pop into the little register here, find the thing, say, okay, let's do this, and wait for the people to fill in. Or if you have friends, you can, like, get a whole party and just go right in, which would be an option. I do know a number of people who play this. I don't know that I know 24 of them who are willing to keep doing these fights after doing them 5 billion times already. But anyway, I thought ahead, and while waiting for this to actually pop in, I'm gonna do a quick little tour of the world and share some plot things. In fact, let me... Hopefully somebody's there to actually see this. But let me just toss into the chat here this blog post I wrote some time ago now, just summarizing the entire plot of this game. Meanwhile, okay, you start playing it. You pick your starting class. Based on your starting class, you're going to start in one of these 3 little city-states. The cool one is Pirate Island here, which is, on an island, so a little bit cut off from the rest of the world. But, I think it was this one? Yes? No? Damn it. Some NPC or other runs a little ferry service to go to the main continent that the other 2 city-states are on. I'm going to try one more time to find that all properly, and if not, I am going to, what's the word? Cheat. And tour things from there. Also, I say starting class, but you can kind of eventually just join all of them. They level up independently, and, you basically have sort of one character with 19 different character sheets, essentially, that you can just kind of quickly swap in and out of. For instance, let's say I want to, be some kind of monk. Ta-da, there's some kind of monk dressed like some kind of weird sci-fi thing, because... Oh yeah, that's what I put on my monk right now. But, yeah, so, there's the 3 city-states. The first one is Pirate Island here, where a bunch of pirates crashed into some rocks and said, okay, we live here now. And, oh, okay, here's the first one of these. So, put a pin in that, I guess. And I definitely went the wrong way. Unless, was it hidden around back here? So I did turn cutscenes back on, which maybe will give some context for some of this. It's been a while. Yeah, so the thing of fighting the gods is you meet some guy, and you find this mysterious place that takes you to, like, Greek heaven. And all the gods are hanging out there. And they go, hey, you want to throw down? And it's like, well, yeah, I do. That's my whole thing. And then you do. Is there slightly more to it than that? It kind of isn't. Also, it is worth noting that this is currently in that awkward part of things where this is endgame content, but its endgame content's been out for a while, and a few things have gone in since that give you better equipment. And while this game normally adjusts your stats down to what's appropriate for where you are, when you're at, like, the current level cap, and you're in stuff made for the current level cap, that doesn't happen. So these bosses are kind of melt down twice as fast as they should, and not use much of attacks. and also do no damage. Anyway, yeah, here's god number 1, Bob the Builder. That is probably kind of loud, isn't it? I'm gonna turn down my end at least. Yeah, this being one of those 24-person parties, there is an extra amount of just random crud on the screen than usual. He does. Also, a big statue of himself. No, he doesn't. Friend. Yeah, as a boss fight, this one's kind of interesting. There's a lot of getting knocked around, and then halfway through it, there is some fun stuff with little hammers appearing and knocking chunks of the arena off, or around, I should say. And I'm also going to basically sleepwalk through this because I have done this way too many times, and again, it is currently destroyed by good gear. So yeah, hammers appear, they hit the floor moves, you don't. And there is, I'm trying to do any special effects on the screen right now. This is after I have turned that down a lot. This column can hit by that hammer and move backwards, and ta-da. Get clipped by there. It's also kind of interesting playing this because, well, like I said, all the end of game stuff makes this whole series of boss fights kind of just a joke. It's also at a point when this just a month or two ago got ported to the Xbox. So there's been a big, huge wave of new players who probably aren't this far, but like earlier stuff in the game, suddenly like you're in parts where nobody knows how anything works, instead of parts where everybody has had it memorized for forever. Yeah, there's the first god down. If you like big beardo guys with a large cape and hammer, then ta-da.
The builder has been made to yield.
That's the one. Then if you got like old guys who like birds and having one titty out and also have big statues of themselves. That'll be next, but first, just fight a bird. Why not? Anyway, yeah, so like I was saying, the backstory to this particular piece of content really kind of is just like, hey, you found heaven. It turns out it was like behind this rock the whole time. Here's the real, actual gods, not like those fake gods that you kill every other day. And they're not, you know, sucking all of the magicite or materia or ether in this game's case. Like, a lot of Final Fantasy games have gone this route. And you know, being bad for the environment and also being objects of worship that you have to kill for environmental reasons. They swear. They're a very different thing with a very different origin story. And then you get towards the end of it, and they go, okay, we kind of lied. We actually kind of have the same origin story. We're just sick of being alive. Could you please, like, mercy kill us so that we can, like, reincarnate and give all that MP back? And it's like, okay. Which is kind of like the theme of the whole expansion, which I'm not really down on. It's just like... Endwalker, the suicide expansion.
Ahead stands a statue I have fashioned for our contest.
Also, all the voice actors are British these days, which wasn't always the case. After the, I think, first expansion, they switched over to some British-based dubbing house, and before that you had, like, Bato from the English Ghost in the Shell dub as the big horrible head Nazi guy, which was interesting, and he chewed so much scenery. But yeah, here's Ralger. He's the god of, again, having one boob out and building big statues of himself, and also punching. Mostly the punching, really. Here's gonna punch that little magic ring on the down there, and oh, this is what happens when I'm talking to the camera around. Yeah, fists go through one hole, come out other hole. It's big. And then I sit here on the floor for a second. I've actually never gotten hit by that before. Big rockfall, big shockwave. Another big rockfall, big shockwave, knock you back. Oh hey, look, little lines. It's hard to explain this in foodie sometimes, but yeah. That's how that works. And I still say, I don't know if I mentioned this on stream before, but like, something that frustrates me about this game is the boss fights are really, really good. Especially the hard mode ones. But the problem is, to get to the cool boss fights, you have to sit through the plot, and the plot is just like, here are some characters who take, you know, 5 minutes to say the simplest thing. Saying the simplest thing, and then saying, okay, now meet me over there on the other side of the docks, and we'll continue this conversation some more. And then, okay, well now go talk to this person over here. And it's just like, the bulk of the actual, like, playing of this game is just sitting through kind of boring dialogue. If this fight actually goes on long enough, then the mixing and matching of mechanics has one where, like, that whole setup is going on, but then it's like, oh no, he's punching through the other ring, so if you stand under the big rock, you will in fact die. If I recall, like the one time I saw this before it became kind of toothless. And who has the boss over there, away from the whole party? That's rude. Okay.
Enter my realm if you dare.
2 down. Into scenery time. Pretty nice change of scenery, honestly. Once again, the sea of names swarms over some mooks for a bit. I think I mentioned before, this game has a, like, honestly very customizable UI to it, which I have not taken a ton of advantage of. One thing I have done is there's an option to turn off all of the special effects for other people in your party. Which I have done, for the most part. There's a little tiny phoenix there, because for some reason summoners are all special, and you can't turn theirs off, you can just make them tiny. If you don't make them tiny, then you spend any fight with the summoner in your party like staring at Titan's butt instead of what you're fighting, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, you're mostly just seeing the special effects from my personal attacks and nobody else's. And that's still kind of a lot. Okay, our next member of the Pantheon here, Flamey Bird Lady. Not confused with the other Flamey Bird Lady or the other Flamey Bird Lady. Also, if you pay attention, you will notice that they have more gods here than voice actors. Some of these will, in fact, be recycled. Can I get the actual face of boss that I'm fighting in frame? It would be very, very easy to do if I'd been a tank instead of red mage, but when you're doing these 24-person fights, the party makeup is shifted. So there's just 3 tanks and then 15 damage dealers, and yeah, it goes faster this way. The landing up for it. What I probably should have done is there's an option to turn off the labels of people's heads of their names, because yeah, doing these like that just kind of turns into a horrible jumble. Here, just explaining mechanics again. You get little clones summoned in, who wander up 2 of the corners, then use their big huge fans there to eventually blow the fire in 2 directions, so standing in those would have been bad. How much does this even actually get real out? This is a thing the, I guess now outgoing expansion is a big fan of, is can you remember a whole pattern for like 4 seconds? Now comes the interesting part of this fight, where there's just giant flame circles everywhere, and then the boss dies because, again, this party is massively overgeared for this. Again, though, pretty background.
I am Null, keeper of the realm of the living.
I am Thor, keeper of the realm of the dead.
Wow, that's an unfortunate face arrangement they have going on.
Prepare to be judged, children of man.
Just... Okay, so today, my mouth gets to be the mouth, and, someone's impatient. I should turn the music up and the normal volume back down, I think. Although again, with me, it's like fighting over like buzzing sounds in the background, so... Yeah, this here is the 2-in-1 Death God, who the head localizer is very, 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 very proud of getting to help name some of the concepts for, because having a god whose name is Thal means you can have NPCs shout Thal's balls, and there's this video. Where are you going? There's this video of him explaining this at a convention, and it's like, oh yeah, that's kind of funny. But then he just like keeps going, and it gets really, really, really awkward because he's like just explaining his one joke for like 15 minutes, and it's like, yeah, we got it. There's a really fun mechanic towards the end of this fight where someone's a big, huge, giant scale, and you have to, like, split the party and also the corpses of little minions when fighting up so that it's equally balanced, or else bad things happen. And you are almost not going to see it, because yeah. Numbers big. You should get those. actually maybe at a point where I can sandbag it.
You have been found worthy.
This is also weird when you're live because the big dungeons like to stay spread out over several months worth of patches. So it's like, okay, fight 4 of us now. Go home for a while and then come back. And or I guess 3 on this patch. It's like 3, 4, 5, roughly. I guess you did a good job. I guess I can use those for scrap, sell those. Okay. So, getting in line for the next one of those. And was this where Little Fairy was? Okay, this is not where Little Fairy was. So, drastic actions. This takes you over to here-ish. And let's see. What tacky thing will I ride around in? How about the car from FF15? Which can fly. Because everything can fly, but like in 15 it can as well, apparently. But yeah, so boat drop over there as far as connectivity of the world goes. And here's Big Desert City. It's a big city, it's in a desert. It is run by little horrible goblins who are capitalist monsters and look like small children. I could cut through it, but I can see it fine from here. If I because navigate this invisible wall. One interesting thing about the whole thing about throwing the original game out and starting over is FF14 is technically a sequel to FF14. But like the events of the first game are like the 5 years of backstory to this one. So there's a lot of places where you'll just see like big chunks of magic rocks just like sticking through buildings in the terrain because there was kind of a bit of an apocalypse. And a few NPCs who talk about people like you know who they are, despite the fact that they were dead before the game started. And these are actually going off quicker than I thought they would if I'd be like... out of places to cruise through. Here's some cat boy who has a crush on the main character. Who's just hanging out because your NPC friends hang out sometimes. And now we get to the chunk of the list of guys where they'll have huge boobs.
The time has come.
This is the sort of thing you need to know when you're making a character. They're really nice backgrounds here. Yeah, Doodle Finder there is one of the horrible capitalist gremlins.
Prove to me life's resolve.
Oh, I forgot to change the music settings. Go on. Oh well, nothing. This is easy stuff. Let's, oh. Oh, fine. Put that about there, and, turn those down a little. There we go. Should be better. Can I get you on screen without all the UI? Sort of. Next where my feet are. Sort of. It's honestly about as, you know, boring of a Pantheon as, like, every game D&D ever played. How was I getting that? Once again, this is just the big screenplay effects from my attacks and the boss's attacks that you're seeing. Like, imagine this times 24. It's very much like playing Risk of Rain 2 and having a good run going. Also, I can't remember what, if anything, novel comes after that attack. Once again, Raph, I disagree. I was clearly clear of that.
Bow down like the willow. Good children, be strong for what awaits.
I was finding it very strange this particular dungeon that, like, boss fight music is like some kind of Irish beer commercial thing. yeah, just continue the tour guide stuff that I was going to explain while waiting to get here. So you got your 3 city-states in this, like, honestly, turns out backwater corner of the world once you see everything else. There's a big evil empire of Nazis from, like, up in the mountains somewhere who just, you know, come in and do the whole Nazi thing. And the whole plot of the base game without any expansions is just like... So that's the thing that's happening, and also, like, all the monstery people keep, you know, objecting to us kind of slaughtering them to take over their land and summoning their big gods to, like, fight people. And that's a problem. Both because, you know, we got big gods trying to punch us in the face, and also, like, they got this magic make you worship them forever power. That, you know, becomes a thing. And you're like, okay, well, where do these guys live? I'll go punch them in the face because I have plot armor. And then they go, well, and they stall for like a good 50 hours. And eventually let you fight 3 of them, because that's apparently what they had ready to go when they had to remake the game. And then the head Nazi comes down with specifically the FF7 version of Ultima Weapon, which looks really goofy in, like, high-res graphics, I have to say. And then eats those 3, and there's like, now you gotta fight a big stupid robot centaur with the power of these 3 speed bump bosses. How are you gonna manage that? And, you know, it's fine. Okay, 2 for 1 now.
But I couldn't stay away.
It seems my sister shall be joining us. Tis only fitting that we face you together.
Here can at least give you a view of the boss, because everybody always just focuses on that one and leaves this one alone to, like, 1 tank and me. That works. Let's see, to review, we've got the god of getting hammered. We got the god of punching you in the face and also having big statues. We've got the goddess of, I don't know, flaming birds. I wasn't really paying attention. We got the god of being 2 gods, one of who is the other one's butt, and also death. Then we had, I guess, you know, the harvest, and also just, like, having an open neckline. Now we've got, the god of messing with time and being on a horse, and the goddess of I do tarot readings. Isn't that cool? This boss fight is a little weird because they kind of share HP. I was about to start explaining that and still didn't come on. Yeah, mechanical gimmickry. The big purple lines are just like high gravity, and the waves just kind of like travel along and push, and you have to like sneak between the peaks. Here him on the floor in shame. Those are some very shiny pants she has. Those are like Tekken character pants. Wow, someone's just leaving me here, huh? I guess I just are kind of half paying attention. Oh, no, okay. I just missed the notification. What? Hardly fair, I was stuck in animation. I was also gonna say, yeah, another odd thing about this boss fight is they technically have their own HP bars, but like if one winds up lower than the other, they just kind of like steal HP from each other, so it doesn't actually matter which one you attack.
This too is fate.
Upon the most exalted of battlefields, you shall stand.
And I'm really impressed by like the level of detail in these fancy hallways that you just kind of run past without paying attention to. And then you're stuck in the actual like boss arena, which is like a square or a circle floating in space 90% of the time. I'm fascinated too. Like, why are MMOs unique among all genres of being so bad at having unintrusive AI, unintrusive UI? Like, I'm someone who plays games like, oh, say, Resident Evil, where there is just nothing on the screen except for the environment and the monsters and yo. And here, like, by default, there's a little reminder at the bottom of what all my buttons do. There's the chat log, I guess that's fine. There's everybody's HP. Then there's these other two partial people's HP just, you know, shoved in the middle there. There's my little, like, black and white balance gauge just kind of crammed in there. And then there's a big, huge log of every quest that I'm ignoring right now. And then a map. And then a big limit rank bar. Then my experience for some reason. And another copy of my HP. And it's like... most of this I don't really need. I am playing a class that has some, like, random skill activations, so I think we need to see those. Here's one of those. You remember the pattern from seconds ago? What was the first two steps you managed that? And then everybody has their name over their head too. That being said, I do appreciate how this works when using an actual controller for it instead of a keyboard for happening right now. Where, can I probably demonstrate this? So, if I hold down the left trigger, the neck is bigger over there. That's the 8th Faith doesn't do those things. Pulling to the right one, they do these things on the right. And for some reason, by default, that's all you get. So you need way more than that. But when you find the give me more buttons option in the menus, then you can do this whole like shift modifier thing of like hold down L and then hold R, hold down R and then hold L, double tap one of them, double tap the other. I should probably put some stuff in those spaces. It's a good way to get a lot of utility out of not a lot of buttons. And then free you up to be constantly dodging the part on the floor. But I think I also prefer to just like not have so many buttons, honestly. Also, wow, people didn't realize it was like split up evenly for this, huh?
In ice unyielding, now rest.
Also, am I wrong, or should you just have like straight up the design of the main character doctor profile? Also note too, I was saying that like the hard mode boss fights in this are interesting. This is not one of the hard mode boss fights. This is kind of just, I guess medium. Or at least it would be medium before the aforementioned. Thank you for sharing. Aforementioned stat sharing. Stat, over here, rather. There's some kind of complex pattern stuff going on here. The difference is you have time to think about it, and it also doesn't instantly kill you. Doing the actual, like, hard stuff with, when you had when it first came out is, like, you might die 5 seconds into this fight, and then have to figure out why, and then, practice increasingly elaborate choreography until you can, like, just do it without even looking, basically. Which I find interesting as like a kind of gameplay. Like, yeah, let me do the 10-minute long dance choreography with some people after figuring out what it even is through trial and error. But again, like, that sort of hardcore boss fight is like hidden at the end of just so much boring talking. And I feel like you're only going to be paying one of those two things, so it's weird to kind of mash together like that. And then we got some Sonic the Hedgehog rail grinding.
Come bathe in the moon's tender glow.
Oh wow, just me watching that. Oh well. see, after Goddess of Hey Terror was cool, we have Goddess of Valkyrie profile, and then Goddess of, like, I love love and the moon and my dog, who's also a moon. Which is the thematic connection I have going here tonight. Floor gets icy. Yeah, the like Irish folk music and Greek god thing is a weird combo. It's one of the weirder ones. There's a circle under each moon thing. When they get full, then boom. Those two go off. Then those two go off. Intermission. Another thing that's nice about some of this is easier boss fights like this will kind of hit a point where they like sort of loop and just do the mechanics again. The hard mode ones do not. It's like, here is 10 minutes of fight choreography, and if I'm still alive after that, here's an attack that's going to kill the whole party with nothing you can do about it. Which lets them, you know, write music that's like the exact length and time things up sometimes, which is a neat option. Yeah. Giant dog time. Now the floor is icy and also the dog's out like a freaking knife. It should also be pointed out that the dog does not actually have a hitbox. Ready for ice physics. Oh, the dog is friend. I'm actually targeting her sitting on the dog's paw at the moment. Yeah, I did slightly simplify things of like, hey, the guys want you to like fight them and mercy kill them because technically want you to fight them to just soften up a bit and then fight them and mercy kill them. But what's messed up about the whole thing, I'm not sure if you'll get to see it with the cutscenes on.
Our dreams may yet become reality.
Sorry, distracted by cute dog. Is they're like, oh, we're tired of being alive. Also, thank you for giving me the dog by making a second artificial moon. And then worshipping that too, so I have to have, like, a little partner. And then, anyway, gonna go die, and so's my dog. And it's like, well, like, leave the dog. And then the 13th boring god is like, you know, I was gonna, like, stop living with everybody else, but I got this pet monkey, and it's like, wow. Wow, gee. Good for your monkey. There you go, Santa. Give me all that stuff I don't need. And out of here. Alright, I have to drive my car around. So, final set. Whenever that goes off. Yeah. Yeah, as I was saying, so there's all these post-apocalyptic big spikes through stuff like that one in the background there. Just kind of a neat little world-building detail. Like, you can always, like, flag me down if you need an extra warm body for stuff. But yeah, I do find it interesting that the other thing that happens after the current expansion is we just have this big, huge FF4 tribute with the whole Four Fiends of Darkness and whatnot. And they even got the person who did that one song y'all remember from YouTube to basically record it with slightly less silly lyrics. And it's like, that's a cool kind of fan service to do. Yeah, I just got to like the Rubicon fight. It's like, wait a second, this sounds really specifically familiar. And it's like, oh hey, I actually got them. Get this like honky tonk FF15 car music is bugging me. Where's and so is my controller drifting? What's going on there? Let's see, what else can I ride around on? Little annoying fairy can barely lift me. Okay, let's go. But yeah, so the desert area connects straight into the big awful swamp, honestly. With everyone's favorite, these guys. And let's see where I'm going. Yeah, that's the three, like, starting locations, roughly. Island, desert, big forest. And the plot of the first expansion is after kind of partially kicking the Nazis out of here, you're like, hey, what about that other country to the north of us that has, like, the gigantic army? Why don't we get them to help fight the Nazis? And the answer is that they're just, like, horrible Catholic elves. Oh, it's one of the better ones, yeah. This is from the third one of the, what do they call them? The Choose Your Own Adventure dungeons. It's also kind of funny because like this is one of the few that doesn't scale to your character. So if you're a Lalafell, like, you know, it's roughly the size of you, and then if you're me, it's like, wow, I'm so high off the ground right now. I do appreciate the various pile of stupid things you can ride around on this. But yeah, so heading off this way just because I'm taking the scenic route while waiting for this to load in. Yeah, north of all the people you start with, there's the horrible Catholic elves and their pope who won't let you bang the dragons. Because, yeah, that joke that was going on for a while, that was a reference to the first expansion of this game specifically, it turns out. It's the backstory for Shiva. It also involves Vor. But anyway, so yeah, the whole first expansion is just, well, there's this weird thing where you're kind of, like, falsely accused of murder and have to skip town, which is weird, partially because you don't really have to skip town, you can just, like, turn around and go right back in and nobody cares. And also because they eventually decided to, like, walk the whole murder thing back and not change the status quo too hard. Which is mostly odd because, like, they do in plenty of other ways later on. Anyway. The elves up here in the frozen north. Oh. And there's that popping in. Okay. Also, I sure did pick a good time to be showing off the terrain here while it's like night in a storm, but you know, these things happen. So yeah, the whole thing is just like, go to Elf Town and help them like fix their backwards religion and not being cool with dragons. And it also kill a truckload of dragons, despite them kind of being unambiguously the good guys. Okay, well, like, I mean, in general they are, but like, this one is just a huge jerk. Just mostly killing that one. Now for the heaven of soggy feet and goldfish everywhere. Which I guess makes sense given what percentage of the population in this game is cat girls. Also, I remember that urn from Final Fantasy Legend 3. World flooding jerk. I have a very love-hate relationship with this dungeon here. Hi, twins. Just because on the one hand, it has some of the, like, best telegraphed high-concept attacks in the game, but also, that means I memorized them really, really quickly, and it's extra boring. Yeah, normal dungeons has a lot of this, of just, like, okay, one person just round up every monster into a big pile, and then we'll all just, like, stand around in a circle and, spam area attacks, and then it's really frustrating to be a spellcaster, because, got this whole cast timer. Oh, someone killed me for targeting, got switch targets to another one. Also, when an enemy is using a special ability and gets the little cast bar above its name, if it's pulsating, that means that some people can use skills to interrupt them and not have the party take additional damage. A lot of people don't know that in this group.
Only to be expected the day we vanquished my beautiful pirate.
Once again, like, really just lovely background that you just, like, run right past. Okay, next god, we got,
I have looked forward to this moment, children of man.
Thaliak, the god of,
Shall measure your depth of knowledge.
I guess looking a little bit like Link and, Waves. So clearly, if I wasn't paying attention, that would have like set me off the edge. But like, it's very easy to, not to pay attention to that one. Also, if someone's just going yak yak yeah, it's really distracting in here.
Join me in deepest knowledge. Let flow the waters of your mind.
Next mechanic, there are triangles. Some triangles are big.
Seek new perspectives and you shall find new paths.
And then this part comes from this actually like spatially interesting. Look at that little geometry puzzle there.
Small wonder the others have exalted so. Oh, waters purified, reveal their nature.
You know what's funny is I never actually saw those two boulders of that one before now. I just never had me standing in the path of them. There's another fun one. 2 spots on the floor are safe. Now it's gonna spin around.
Not all answers can be obtained through might.
I think it does actually. Yes, it was like. Oh yeah, we don't actually intervene with stuff. That was just someone like praying to the fake god versions and getting sucky copies of us that kind of half went into apocalypse. Sorry about that. We're just kind of chilling, really, honestly. And it's like, okay. it's a lot of build up for them not really having anything going on.
Let us enlighten one another.
I kind of wish they were more honest about it too. Just like, oh hey, you're totally benign and everything, but like, I'm a professional god exterminator. It's my whole thing. If I see a god, I have to kill him. So sorry. Because that is, in brief, the plot of this game.
Well done, wise children. Well done.
Well, sorry. I'm a professional god exterminator, and also the SNES games were cool. Remember them?
The stones to face the navigator.
Yeah, like really wonderful, gorgeous background with all these like god rays, and you're here for like what, 10 seconds before jumping off a cliff.
Let me prepare a suitable stage for our union.
And then just, into a rectangle. You can't even look up high enough. So here's Leyan, the goddess of being some kind of spicy pirate girl.
I'll teach you the ways of navigation.
Oh, that too, I guess. And there's a special weird little Easter egg of sorts in this that I hope I don't have to show off, where
Mine are the ways and the means.
for some reason they coded in a special interaction where if you use the blow a kiss emote at this boss and she's not in the middle of a spell, she goes, hey, cut it out, and kiss you in the face and kills you.
Can you contend with she who rules the tides? My trident parts the very sea.
What was it, wait? I'm gonna have that timing down.
You must make an ally of the wind. Rise above the white caps.
This here is slightly bullet hellish. There is an actual near Automata crossover that like has the real version of that little hallway there. Oh, I didn't die.
Like the stormy
But yeah, that's how that works.
sea and the harsh mistress.
So yeah, that's funny because like that's the only interaction that I know of anywhere in the game where just a boss cares about you using emotes on them. Someone worked it out day one. And then as soon as it was like a publicly known thing, it was actually like a really hard fight because everybody was just like doing it, laughing their heads off. And so like half the party is suddenly dead.
I trust you don't mind if they play too.
Come, Pericles, Valios. Join us in the excitement.
But again, like, I do appreciate this being as well telegraphed as it is. And learning the execution is, like, not totally trivial. But, like...
That's the way, my clever serpents.
I kind of got through this whole thing first try, no problems. And it just keeps coming up in the, like, do a random dungeon lottery things.
Feel the might of the navigator.
Yeah, the near raids are interesting because, like, they don't kid around. Like, you are going to see people, like, on the floor constantly.
As the ocean.
And quite famously, you get the 2B dress after, with the special property that the pants make your butt bigger. Which is another thing that's, like, worth noting about it is, it wasn't always true. But for at least the past, I don't know, like, 5 years or something, this game doesn't do gender-locked equipment. If there is, like, the slutty bunny girl outfit, anyone can wear that. Which has the very weird effect that, like, how long ago was it now? I want to say a few months. Some people who I assume are from 4chan decided to, like, do one of those things of, like, hey, let's all have the same character model and, like, make a big barricade to block people out of places, but, like, characters don't have collision, so the blockading part doesn't really do anything. And if you're in a crowded area, it takes forever to load in anyway, so you don't even see them. And if you do see them, they're just like, oh, let's all be like the big orc guys and just, like, wear Speedos, but, like, look at this random party of people. Like, that's not something that's, like, shocking to people who play this game.
Thank you for making it this far. Not long now.
And here again, like,
Our journey together must
this
end.
is a really nice bit of environment design that we're just wasting because looking at it for like a few seconds and then we're in a square. And this is the god of I'm a bard, I guess. This is like a neat little telegraphy thing. Just here's the big arc, here's the arrow of how I'm gonna jump, and then
Stand firm amidst the storm.
that's actually going to follow me. I kind of hope in the new expansion they have more of this sort of thing going on. With fast reaction times, obviously. Like, this in the triangle thing is like, okay, that's very intuitive, but also I have to actually, like, stop and think for a second. Or what if there were, like, any random factors in this boss fight at all? Like this on the fly would be interesting to have to think out.
Wind, guide my arrow. My bowstring sings.
Also, you notice that these fights are kind of playing out more fully than those first couple, because this is the most recent one of these, and would kind of be like where the average person would have the best that they can actually manage if this particular expansion hadn't decided to not do the like big epic weapon quest and just kind of like get him out of the store.
Your prayers have given us strength. By fighting you, that strength shall be returned to the star. Come, grant us our heart's desire.
Also, something you might have picked up on is like bosses in this game love to shout "come at you." It's a thing. And people have made some super cut videos and put them on YouTube.
Those who hesitate are lost. Behold the wondrous arrow.
I'm just like explaining these mechanics when I can, but like these are all really straightforward. Like, yeah, big arrow goes down loopy path, explodes in the middle. Stay out of path, stay out of explosion. Ta-da. Yeah, plot-wise, this whole fight the gods thing is again so weird because like there's nothing really to it. It's just like, oh, there's something that we've previously mentioned and never did anything with. We better have you like kill them off because we are like legit clearing out all ongoing plot details and starting fresh with the next expansion. They really did leave themselves like no sequel hook. It's weird. The official like prior to the end credits thing for this expansion is like, okay, here's some cat lady from America who just kind of wants to like invite you out there for a vacation. That's it. That's the setup. that has to be like the most uncomfortable, like... Does that count as armor? It doesn't count as a shirt. Like... Look at that. It's like metal spikes just like right in the center of your chest.
Stay the course to the end.
And that was all of them. And then this happens. And this little scene here confused me for forever, because that guy I just fought and that guy have the same voice actor. And also, you're up these stairs and don't notice who's talking.
You're back.
But it's him. He's talking. He runs over here, everybody's already left.
Servants? What's the meaning of this? Those ones, I leave to you.
And then goes off to stand in front of those other NPCs. It's like, I kind of figured this would be the voice of the person who was just talking with that exact voice and intonation. Oh, no. Apparently not. Yeah, this is a game that's like really weird when it comes to like NPC friends, because like you have a party of characters who play the role of like your party of characters in an early Final Fantasy game, except you know it's an MMO, so we can't have them like being given orders by you. So for the longest time, the setup was like, oh yeah, here's your friends who like drag you over here, and then kind of like shove you at the boss to go kill it for them. And they had this excuse for a while of like, no, like your character literally has plot armor. Anybody else, if they like see a big god slash summon slash whatever you want to call them, just like gets instantly in love with it and can't fight it. And then the third expansion had the brilliant idea of like, okay, what if like we just didn't make those all the boss fights and had stuff that people can be in the room for, and maybe we like add some option where you can have your NPC friends instead of human friends, or like have both, and they're just like, you know, running around just doing some attacks in the background while you're doing your thing. It's like, oh, nice finally pulling their weight. It's like, it gets a bit ridiculous. There's like this whole group of like 8 people, and their solution to every problem is just like shove their one mute friend at it. Here's your full Pokédex.
The will of the star has entrusted the future to you and yours. As entities charged with ensuring life on Aetheris, we rejoice in this outcome with all our hearts.
And then here's making the Wish God Do decision much easier to make.
Tis time, beloved children. Time to bid farewell to the relics of the past.
Sorry, I'll give it a second.
Come, children, fulfill our final wish.
So there it is, I can take a drink. this like the first time we did it was actually a really cool boss fight. It's just like, here, have a like refresher on the mechanics of those last like 12 fights. Also this thing. How close the first one was. At least keep the little dog piece. Okay, there we go. Same that's right hand, right hand. Okay. Again, very readable. Again, like, I would love to see a game that had this sort of, like, complex dance choreography boss fight that got to the point faster than this does. And maybe had a little bit more going on as far as, like, your offensive options. Weird thing about this game is, like, there is a correct thing to do as far as attacks go. Like, here is the sequence. Loop through this sequence for maximum damage. worse for some classes than others, but like pretty bad for all of them. Red Mage here is like halfway interesting just because there's a lot of like weird pat your head and rub your stomach stuff going on if we're actually hitting, and then also like, hey, technically you have white magic too. You have this little gimmick of like every second spell has an instant cast, which makes you technically like the best class in the game for reviving people, since the revive spell takes like 30 seconds to cast. And there's some randomness too. If you watch those 2 slots in the left side up top, those are on there sometimes. Yeah? The little keep the elements balanced thing also has some slight randomness to it. I'm most interested in the same thing, all these fights, while dodging. Yeah? I'm out? Wait, this one. I say too though, like, again, I have most effects off, and there's still like so many just like screen filling flashes in this. It's a bit absurd. I kind of wish that the developers think of like other ways to make these look impressive. It was really bad when I was doing like actual hard mode bosses. One of them, which is a lot too. One of them in the most recent set is just like, okay, watch the boss's face. It's gonna either like flash super bright yellow or super bright purple, and then you have to like react accordingly. And it was just like just enough intensity. And at the time, it was like I had to drive home from somewhere for every session of fighting it, with every car on the highway just like having their brights going in my face. So it's just like, okay, I've already got like a headache from that, and now here's this boss like staring at me while like just getting flashbangs for 2 hours worth of 10-minute attempts. Why have I got vampire figures there? Oh, that's okay. Oh, okay. That little, like, mustache on the dog's face in the boobs is a look.
Thank you.
Awkwardly get off the floor. Let's see, got that. And Okay, I have all this at this point. Well, now I can look at the the mustachy chest dog face some more, and the one really gaudy glove. It's a design. And then, yeah, the first time there's another cutscene of like, okay, now we're all gonna go die. But yeah, so that's that. Now, if you ever start playing this game and go, what does this whole choice of God do? And the answer is it does nothing, but at least now you have more than just the names to go off of. But yes, this is, I guess, my formal look at this on stream. You can't get that one as a mount, but let's see. There is the big one that black mages can get from doing their thing with all the eyes. That I think is from the Eden raids. There is the one from the FF16 crossover. That's fairly large. But anyway, yeah, what I was saying before is, like, first expansion, you come to Elf Town, and Elf Town is just, like, this big mega church with horrible slums on the side of a mountain because they're being, like, attacked by dragons constantly. And also, they're, like, horrible religious jerks. And there's this whole subplot of, like, cool weirdos trying to, like, make guns so that the, like, wealthy families can't just go, oh, we got knights and aren't we special? But yeah, so this place basically sucks, and the whole expansion is just, like, exposing how much this place sucks. And then partway through it, you find out, like, oh, well, they got super strict laws, but this, like, trial by combat option, so I guess you just run the place now. And there's this whole thing about just, like, the person you learn Dragoon skills getting to be, like, a major character who is just a weird, smelly idiot. And you do your whole thing there, and then they go, oh, yeah, well, I guess we'll, like, be less of a horrible religious organization and, you know, chill the hell out and help with the Nazi problem. Then the second expansion, which is now also one of the ones that you get for free without any cost besides having to suffer through all of the long dialogue scenes, is they basically go, hey, you know how, like, the Nazis took over, like, the whole world and, like, everybody in, you know, not Asia has just been dealing with that for 10 years? Can you maybe, like, come deal with that? And everybody's like, that would involve, like, getting up. And then someone, like, does one of them their false flag operations, like, on 4chan and, like, forces you into coming and, actually fighting the evil empire for a while. Yeah, here's the one from FF16. Which, again, theme of dog, right? Got the custom pet emote. And oh yeah, there's also the whole second expansion's, like, set of boss drop ones are all, like, magical glowing dogs. Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing of, like, I have the powers of a god, and you're just like, ooh! Oh no. But yeah, so the whole second expansion is just, like, this big war thing, and here's, like, this, you know, cool set of mountains and valleys in not Japan and other not Japan to go fight your way through. With a very memorable villain who, if you read my blog post there, dies in a way. But yeah, so you come over here and you just kind of free the people from Fantasy Tibet, from Imperial Rule, and also the people from just, again, two different Fantasy Japans. And, oh, then there's the other bit of actual gameplay in this. Let me show that real quick. It's a little odd, like, you take a break from fighting over there for a while because there's a big army and they counterattack eventually. So you sail over to just the big island country here with all their nice red wooden bridges and stuff. And then you leave this island and you go to the mainland, and where there should be China, there's Doma from FF6, which is also Japan. And it's like, wait a second. These shouldn't both be Japan. Like, I know historically that's been an issue. Like, but the interesting thing in this city here, and let's see if I can like be able to make any progress at all doing this. Is much like Guild Wars 2. At some point, they decided, hey, we should put some like BS platforming challenges into our game. So, okay, yeah, willing to be able to do this has been forever. This one has the fake ceiling, I think? No. Particularly known as a tall character. It doesn't actually affect your, like, clearance, but, like, it affects where the camera is. But yeah, there's this jumping puzzle there, and if I can back away from it here. So you got those little pegs that go up to this tier of the roof, and there's more stuff around the back. And then you go up, and up, and up, and up, and up, and it's just like, this thing just keeps going. And it takes, like... It takes, like, a good, like, 3 minutes if you're confident in all the jumps at the top of it. And if you screw up in most places, you will fall all the way down. And there's this little thing where there's certain places in the world where if you stand on them and use a certain emote, you get a little, like, I saw some scenery thing. And one of them is on the top of this tower, and another one is on this lamppost here that you can only reach from jumping from the top of that tower. So those are interesting bits of content. And then after that expansion, there's also just in the bonus stuff, just good lighting effects like sunset. Look at that little rays going through the fence there. For an engine that hasn't really had much of a facelift in like a decade. But, where was it? I think it was here. We have this airship hanging out in town, which is like, hey, you know how there's a framing device in Final Fantasy Tactics of it being like this history book that somebody wrote? There's the somebody. And here's his like traveling stage show reenacting the events of Final Fantasy Tactics. And here's his kids named after the kids in that. Except this guy is a little horrible racist. And in FFT, that's like, no. You're like the one person who's only a little bit of a horrible racist. So there's another whole crossover thing. Another one of those big sets of the 24-person Yeah, just raid dungeons. And let's see. So that whole thing goes on for a while, and you just like kick the big evil empire out of most of the world. And then, because they were planning to do things in a different order originally, and they kind of need an excuse, there's like, wait, I'm from the future, and I had this, like, I guess just experiences from the future of knowing that you're kind of killing the evil empire way too hard, and they're going to, like, start using fantasy nukes to destroy the world. You gotta, like, back off a little bit. Why don't you come with me on vacation? Because also this alternate dimension is like about to be destroyed. Oh, this is an example too of like the post-apocalyptic wreckage from the version of the game that they originally did, where there was this big, huge cutscene of like this one particularly fun dragon attacking the whole empire in their main base here. And just has this cool corpse impaled on a tower now in the middle of the ocean. Who you eventually in this make friends with because, you know, dragons are cool and they kind of ignore being dead. Yeah, here's the aforementioned rock where the entrance to like heaven is hidden behind it, just sitting here on the floor. I don't think there's much to do here since the gods are all dead now. They just got their little podiums and pedestals and symbols in the ground. When you first come here, they're also hanging out disguised as cute little animals. And I feel like I'm skipping something I say. You just find the entrance to heaven just behind this rock, but that's really what happens. it's another very good mount, by the way. This again from the Choose Your Adventure ones. So where is the actual place I was looking for here? You. So yeah, the third expansion, which is the good one, and is now the first time you actually have to, oh, the one I was just in, that is the second one of the Choose Your Adventure Islands, where, yeah, you go explore some mountains in not Japan. Oh, or you're talking about my inventory, because, yeah, I kind of have a lot of relic weapons going on right now. Those are all the Heavensward ones that I'm doing at once. Just because between expansions, what's it going to do? Right. But, so, yeah, third expansion is... So basically, someone goes, I'm from the future. I got terrible news about killing the Nazis. Just come vacation with me in another dimension. And it's like, okay. Kind of barely know you, but sure. Oh, what? The amount of purple in there? I've already, like, packed a bunch of these away, too. Like, you know, working through them. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, like, you can only be on one step at a time per class, so I just kind of have everything funneled into an assembly line right now. Getting real sick of doing that Heavenward stuff. Anyway, yeah, so third expansion is like, okay, come on vacation to another dimension. It's like, oh, okay, sure. And so you do. And then it's like, okay, none of that plot from all this other stuff matters with the big evil empire and the people summoning their gods and all that. We're just gonna have a totally self-contained little, like, JRPG. Got big evil guy who's taking over the world, and, like, you gotta like, you know, kill some angels because screw those guys. And it's a nice change of pace. And then it eventually has the big quest line of, like, okay, what if we do all the, like, big romantic scenes from FF8 over again, but Squall is some goth lesbian now, and it's like, okay, you know what? That's a good idea. Takes longer to run out than I thought it did. But yeah, so you get to come out here in the happy extra-dimensional purple forest. Okay, I'm gonna have one of these like good music. Any of the other ones worth showing off? Oh, this is a fun one. The little poorly drawn UFO. So yeah, Third Expansion, you come hang out here, and there's this whole self-contained storyline that's like kind of decently written. It has like characters who do things. Then big goofy robots. And one of them, there are islands that you see. And it's like, oh, that's a weird looking island. Let me look at that more close up. In this horrible fog where you can't see anything. It's like, why does that look so weird? And then, did I ever shoot that? There it is. That doesn't look like anything. It's a nice, proper return to the time when we just have the big fish island on the map somewhere. So that's a fun time. Then there's the current expansion of just like, okay, we are going to wrap up every single loose end. So, like, people summoning gods isn't a problem anymore. And there's, like, no more Nazis. And also, no more stupid, like, Kingdom Heartsy guys in robes. And also, like, just no plot whatsoever. And so we have the new expansion where I guess the plot is, like, we're gonna go to Mexico and get some tacos. Just chill out for a while. And that's interesting. But also as part of the weirdness in the current expansion that's on its way out here. There's a... Hey, let's go to the moon. And you can just, you know, hang out on the moon, it's fine. There's no lack of air and space or anything like that. Okay, this is a good one too. But yeah, so they made a big, huge deal of like how you get to go to the moon in this one, and it's like, oh, okay. And this is it. This is the moon. It's just kind of the one big crater, and it kind of sucks here. Yeah. There's a little bit of maybe imperialism in there. Yeah. But you hang out on the moon for a while, and it's mostly boring. And then it turns out, oh, somebody like stashed a god away here, and you kill that god. It's like, oh well, you know, it's just what I do. And it's like, well, we just explained to you for like 5 hours how that one god is like load bearing and shouldn't be killed. It's like, oh well, you know, I'm me. I do these things. And then there's a whole like second half of the plot that kind of goes off the rails. But before it goes off the rails, you find out that it's a very FF4 moon. So we got this music here and all these little, where's one of them? Little naming way bunny guys. And the plot kind of like stops dead for a while. Everybody reacts to that. And then after you've done some stuff, they open up a club. And this is the thing that's in this game. Just, for what that's worth. And I mean, what more is there really to say about this than this? We got the freaking little glow stick rave going on down here. And weird mural. And the other interesting thing about the big pile of bunny people here is various non-human races have these repeatable quests that you can do to just kind of, you know, help them out for a bit. Here it's setting all this up, and you know, that's a good point. It should be like way more crowded in here. Like, there's nobody on the dance floor right now. What gives? And then there's, like, Moon Bunny, like, Frasier doing the psychological talk show in the radio booth. Yeah, so they also have a bunch of little side quests for you, and, like, they're horribly, horribly filthy. Like, here, help me test out my robot that I made. It's supposed to, like, grant you any dream that you can think of. Just go over there and turn it on. I was like, huh. It ran over to me and shoved a giant metal carrot down my throat. I wonder what that's about. It's like, you know, that's the thing. So that's, like, partially where this ends, and the other part of where this ends is you wind up going into the further reaches of space, which is at first this, like, really just, like, grim, depressing place, and then, like, you know, bad stuff's happening, and then suddenly, like, things get all uplifting, and this, like, garbagey power ballad starts. and it's like, oh, that's really like, you know, cool emotionally for the events that are going on at this point in the game. But then you come back here later and it's still playing, and it's like, wait, why is it not back to the oppressive space music? This is weird. On the other hand, like, gorgeous environment again. This is the best view of it. And there's this whole depressing plotline too of like, yeah, basically all life in the universe except for the planet you're on is dead because some guy had a bad idea at one point. And you just kind of come out to like the graveyard of space, full of just like ghosts of extinct races and killer robots who are out of stuff to kill and having an existential crisis. And then your solution to their existential crisis, which you come here for, massive spoiler alert, I guess, is when you first show up here is like, oh, there's this one like abandoned restaurant just kind of like in space from some extinct race, and you just go like, well hey, death robots, like if you're bored, I don't know, why not like open a bar? And so they do, and you got the killer death robots just mixing drinks for like ghosts of aliens and other giant robots. And you know what? It was good enough for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's good enough for me. So yeah, that is the current state of FF14 before the next expansion comes out. Just went some weird places and burned out all the plot threads, and also like we're gonna do space and we're gonna do it once.